Hello, it's another day. I thought probably one of the simplest things to do is to try and replace this little piece here. I'm going to weld that in. Okay, now when you look at this piece, see how this piece comes down vertically? Well, there's a bit of a bend in it, but it comes down vertically. Well, this one doesn't, it comes in. And if you look at the shape of this, it sweeps in like that. That's how it's supposed to be. The thing is, my donor panels are like this. So I'm going to do them like that for the sake of simplicity. What I might do afterwards is just draw a line on a sort of a sweep. Maybe try and get the shape from that. Draw the line on the sweep and then cut it off and then fold a new little edge up and see if I can just simulate the shape. But I don't think it's hypercritical. I don't think it's really necessary. It might be that this was done like this to stop extra spray in this area here. So I might leave this. I can't even see why they would want to have an open window here either. I might make a little plate that screws on the back just to stop spray coming through onto the back of the side light area. Okay, I'm going to cut and butt along that edge and then get that welded in. Okay, back in a bit. Hello, I've welded that piece in, welded it in, ground it down, splash of paint. I hope you don't feel cheated by not showing all the bits in between. There's a few little perforations in it, but as long as it's protected well enough, they'll just stay like that now for years, as long as it's protected. It looks better in one piece. I wire brushed this and painted it. No holes this side, pleased to report. I wire brushed here and painted it. No holes here either. I cleaned and wire brushed all under there and was a little bit disappointed to find a hole there. Look, still not the end of the world. It ain't gonna, you know, it wouldn't fail an MOT on that, so that's okay. And I've just looked at this piece and this has got to go. It's really rough. Here's my donor piece. If I had like bead rolling stuff, I could probably make a new one, but I haven't got that stuff. So let's trim this a bit, line it up and get a cut and butt going. So I think the best thing for me to do would be to do an initial cut, get rid of the worst of it, and then offer this. Trim this as necessary, and then weld it in. I've done the trimming. Again, I've left myself with a wide gap. I don't know how I keep doing that. I'm going to get a tack just down the bottom there, and then get it to touch further up and put a tack in, and then worry about that bit after. And you can see the difference between the two designs there. So I'm not quite sure exactly where I'm going with this yet, but I want to get this piece in place. So we'll find out what I end up with. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, because I feel like I shortchanged people on that side, I'm showing the as welded condition here. So there's my new piece welded in. So my question to myself now, what do I do? Do I cut this piece out and make a new piece to go down there like that? Or do I cut it along here like that, in a little kind of curve, and put a new little flange on it. See, I've got that side like that, and this side like this. So there's the piece anyway, welded in. Can you hear the thunder? I had to use filler rod here and there. It was a little bit holy, but you know, I've got it done. It's on there. It's not coming off. So I think what I might do is draw a line, a sort of a radius line, then cut it off and tap a little flange onto it. I'm just going freehand on this job. It'll just be a simulation of the old setup. So if you can imagine sort of coming down like that, and then, oh, it's warm, look, the pen is I think the old ones kind of come up like that, maybe a bit lower than that. Well, that's not a line at all, is it? I think if it looks like that, it won't be too bad. So I need to cut outboard of that to give me a flange like that. This pen ain't really much good, is it? Because the metal's warm. Okay, let's just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Have to do it all again. Okay, let's cut that off and then try and just tap a flange up there. Okay, let's leave it at that for now. It's not looking too bad. Yeah, looks all right. Feels okay. It isn't oil canning back and forth. Yeah, it's a good sort of approximation of the old one, I think, the old shape. So what I might do is take a template from there and do the same on this one, just so it matches. Or I might just leave it as it is. I'll probably, well, I don't know, I'm not good at making decisions. The video I've just put up, I had a comment saying, I like the way you operate. You say you're not going to do something, then you go ahead and do it. Yeah, planning ain't my forte, I'm afraid. Okay, let's just take stock then. So there's both sides of the front panel. Repair. This side needs grinding. I think that looks okay, actually. I know it's odd, but you can imagine with the little bit of paint on that will look okay. Yeah, I think I've got time to just do a quick grind on it and wire brush and get a coat of paint on it. Then I'll call it a day. Okay, back in a bit then. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I did that yesterday. I did a bit of grinding, but I didn't get any paint on it. So what I want to do, I think what I want to do is to just trim that edge there so it looks a little bit more like that. So I've put some marks on there, and I'm going to cut it off and just try and reshape it. Hopefully it'll go okay. Okay, I'll give it a go then, and I'll bring you back when I've done it. That's it. Just using the camera to have a quick look up there. Yeah, I can see where I've done a couple of little welds there. I'll grind it away a little bit and see what we can see. Don't know, just can't see it. Can't see a hole. Okay, I'll grind these off anyway, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Okay, so I've just done another little round of very minor work at the front end there. Yesterday I welded that piece in and I trimmed around there, and today I did the same trimming job on there, on that side. So they are, well, not quite identical, they do look at least similar, and similar to how the early ones were done. At least they're not completely odd now. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I think that edge that somebody welded on there was a bit wrong. I think it should have come down more and then curved in rather than being straight. So anyway, hey ho. They're both actually quite strong now that they're welded with a little flange. So I've painted that side, painted inside, and I also, those little holes that I got here, I've just put a little bit of paint, I welded those, and I've just put a bit of paint on those as well. So those little holes are welded up. Haven't done them. I'll make a decision what I want to do with them, even if it's just leave them alone. Okay. So yeah, that's quite a big round of repairs all around this front end. Quite a big round of repairs. If I was doing it again, I might do it different. Because I got those donor panels, I might have tried to use them more completely than I had. But the thing about them was that they were a little bit pushed out of shape in this area up here. This had been pushed back, so I think I did okay as it turns out. Okay, and again then even the donor panels required some repair down there and down there. So yeah, there's quite a lot. I just don't know, like I tried to explain in a previous video, if you're doing 50 of these, you'd need a very efficient way of doing them. If you're doing one, okay, so it wasn't the most efficient way, as long as it's a way that gets the job done, that's good enough, isn't it? I've still got some more to do, and I've still got lots of repairs to do generally to the whole car. But this general area, I'd say, is okay now. Just depending on how I feel, I might take it one step further than the red. I might just put some of that black on it. That black that I used under there, I might just put some of that on it all. Either that, or I might look at this little bit here that needs doing. Because that's quite bad, because this one here isn't really well retained. So that wants to be at least made so it's not going to fall off. And this one needs putting in place. But for now, the last little jobs I did were this piece fitted, that piece fitted, and both of them trimmed to simulate the early shape. And then just that tiny little bit of welding there on the scuttle. Okay, thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hello. I've just been having a look at these hinge mount areas here. I'll come back to this one. I looked at this one, and although there's some rust here, this piece is still quite soundly attached. That piece is still quite soundly attached. And on the inside, this piece here, where the hinge mounts against, is quite sturdy, so I'm not going to worry about this side. It is a little bit compromised, but it isn't, you know, damaged beyond redemption. This side is a slightly different story. This is the nut that goes here, and I've just broke that off by flexing it. Okay, but so what I've decided to do here is some very small localized repairs. This side, just looking at this one individually, again, the inside piece is okay. The hole is in the right place. It's quite strong. So what I'm going to do is cut this piece and some of the surrounding metal like that off the donor panel and just weld them in, which shouldn't be too difficult because you can bolt through there into there and it will hold it in the right place. So just a little bit of a weld there and a little bit of a weld down here, because there isn't actually a weld here. This isn't welded here. Don't know why, but that's the way it is. So I'll look at this side first and do a quick little repair, get that side fixed, and then on this side I need to do more or less the same, except the inside is a bit compromised. So, you know, I might need to kind of do a cut. I might need to kind of do a cut, you know, maybe up here, down there, down around like that, and get that piece mended. Let's do a little job here and get this one sorted. Okay, back in a bit. Just welded that little piece in. It seems quite firm. I will try and do something similar this side and then see if I can add a little bit of extra strength somehow. Okay, so I'm pleased with that first little bit anyway. That's okay. Righto, I'll have a look at this side then. Raining. Just had a massive clap of thunder. I've just cut this piece out and I'm kind of offering this piece in. Cut it roughly, and I'm just going to keep just doing little tiny little trims until it fits in, and I'll look at welding it in. This one has a point there where you can where the horn mounts on. This one hasn't got that. I'll have to improvise. Hello, there's my patch piece welded in. I think it's okay. There's a hole underneath which I suppose I've got to weld up. There's a couple of minor perforations in the vicinity, but nothing too bad. But yeah, so that's in. I've given it a quick lick with the grinder. You know, one of these flat disc things. Seems alright. Yeah, it's nice and firm, everything feels pretty rigid. The bonnet hinge locations are nice and well supported. That one went in quite easily, and I just put a bit of weld between there and there just to steady it. There's a bit of metal missing there, but it doesn't matter, not too structural. Okay. All this is hidden when it's, you know, assembled up. Okay, so I'll just put a little splash of paint on that then and call it good. I might wire brush this whole thing and just paint the whole thing so it's got some protection. Okay, righto, back in a bit. Hello. Okay, just a closing shot then. There's all the front panel with one tiny little bit that could do with a repair, but by and large it's all done. All the bonnet hinge mounts are good. Well, let's say good enough. And you know, functionally that's great. It'll support the radiator. It's got the little air deflector at the bottom there. The little quarter wings there are good and got the, if not the correct shape, they've got a shape that's similar to how they were when the car was built. So I hope you enjoyed joining me in the garage today, and a good little round of work there, all the sort of nitty bitty little jobs that need doing. Thank you very much for joining me in the garage. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye. Hello. I've cut a little hole there, and I've cut a little piece of metal and I've tacked it in. I'm just going to weld this now. I've been watching some of Fitz's videos, and I'm trying to learn a little bit from him, so let's see how this goes. Okay, I don't know which way up you were then. I haven't gone mad with the grinder. Well, that was like a flat wheel thing, so I haven't tried to take the beads down to nothing because I didn't want to, you know, thin down the adjacent metal. But that's a reasonable repair. That was the only remaining bit of the front there that needed doing. So I can just touch a little bit of red paint on there now and call it good. So, just as a little appendix to the report yesterday, I have filled in that little bit. So what I'm going to do now, I'll give there a little touch of red, and then what I think I'm going to do is to do over the whole, everything that's red at the front, I'm going to do it in black. Okay, back in a little bit then. Hello. I've just applied a coat of black paint across everything that I painted red. So right from this side, right underneath, all along there, all along the top here, across the front, down in that tray there, down in the battery tray, this part here, everything. And it took quite a long while actually. Missed a bit. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like once it's dried. I just wanted a coat of heavy paint, you know, brush paint. I didn't want to just dust over it with an aerosol. Okay, righto. That's good then, because that means that, for instance, the bonnet can go back on, the front panel can go back on, the wings can go back on and off, I would say, a couple of times, you know, to do the repairs down there. But yeah, it's looking okay, and I'm quite pleased with my work over the last few days. Okay, righto, thanks a lot then. I'll catch you later. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I recently painted all the front end in there, just brush painted. So I trying to just sort of work my way towards the next phase of the thing, but what I just wanted to do a couple of little things, and that is to put this back in place because it can go on, and there's the two holes there. So what I did, I put a tap through those, and also that one there I've put a bit of shrink tube around there. I put some tape and some shrink tube on it, a new bolt, washers, put some Vaseline on it. Here's the nuts for my voltage regulator, and I bought these stainless screws. The thread is 1032 UNF. So there's the screws as received, and here's a couple that I've shortened down just a little bit, so there's not so much thread sticking out the end. And I'm just going to fit that using these. Sorry about that. Where are we? I just needed two hands for a moment. Where's the hole? There it is. Just put a bit of Vaseline on them to help, protect the threads a bit from rust. Because I don't know if you remember, but I might have showed it where I had to remove the old screws from this panel, but it did leave the nuts intact. I think very often they're when this panel gets repaired, the things end up just getting self-tapered on. So that's in place. I've put that clip on there, that's in place. Bear in mind that's a new piece of metal. There's some sort of a clip there. I need to know where that was attached. Wonder where that went. There, I think. Is it up there? Yeah, it might be up there. Okay, so there's my harness coming forward for the lights. These are stainless, these screws, so they shouldn't rust up. The old screws rust and it's difficult to get them off, but I managed to just cut the head away and then get them off. So that's, coming back. At least something is coming back together. I ordered and received a new coil, so I might as well fit the new coil. That can go on. I've just dropped this on, it's not bolted on, because I want this positioned so it positions the front wing so I can look at the repairs at the back of the front wing. So that's what I want to do. I want to bolt that on, fit the wing. I already have had it trial fitted once, so I want to fit the wing and see how that looks. But this was just something that was hanging around that I wanted to just get bolted back on for safekeeping. So yeah, so there's a little start at some sort of reassembly. I'll start putting the wings on, and maybe the bonnet as well, maybe the bonnet. If for nothing else, than to get them in out of the rain, It's rained every day here. It's nice, and then it chucks it down. Okay. Righto, I will... Oh, yeah, I sorted a couple of screws out that can go in there. They're a 1032 UNF, but I've got some 5mm which will do the job. So I'll start fitting this wing and see how it looks. and I'll put the other one on just to get it out of the weather. They look better with the bodywork on. Okay, righto. Let's put all the front sheet metal on just for a laugh and see how it looks. Hello. I've offered all the front end sheet metal parts in place. I've done a little bit of fiddling and faffing and pushing and pulling. The bonnet didn't fit very well. And I've had to loosen this hinge and slide the bonnet forward a little bit. But when I'm looking at this here, I can see that there's rust all the way along here, which might indicate that this was kind of rubbing, had left bare metal, which has since rusted. So I managed to create a little gap here by moving the bonnet slightly forward on this side. The alignment isn't bad. I think it's okay, actually. You know, this isn't a Rolls Royce. It would have only ever had a rudimentary sort of alignment. I mean, they'd have done it pretty good on the track, you know, doing it all day, every day, one after the other. But I broke a bolt here on the bonnet hinge, and I took the bonnet catch off. I took this off so it wasn't interfering, because you can adjust that to centre it, and you can, you know, it has to be right for the fore and aft so that it is positioning that. But that's actually okay now. I made some rubber hang on. I made some little rubber pads to go there, because the rubber pads are missing and the bonnet has to sit on the rubber pads. The rubber pads are supposed to attach onto there. And that's where the catch goes. And that's where my bolt broke. But this bolt, luckily, turned, and I was able to put my finger down the end and see that it was turning. So at some point I'll take the bonnet off again and have a look, see what's going on with the bolts, see if I can get them all freed up and working, and repair this one. But all the panels are bolted on. That's okay. This doesn't fit very well at all, to be honest. I think the door might be a bit out because it's rubbing on the wing. Either that or the wing is in. I might see what I can do. I might be able to space the wing out a little bit or move the door in. But that's an interference there, look. The door could come back a tiny bit, which might help. Yeah. So yeah, I mean the jury's out on this because this was previously damaged. Okay. I put these little screws in there. All the bolts are on everywhere else. Yeah, you can just see the one there, look. There's another one further back, which you can't see. And I just put one on the inside. But yeah, all this came out the bonnet, all this rust here. So yeah, looking good. I've got a slight interference here between that new panel that I put in and the valance. So it looks like I need to push that new panel back a little bit. It's just interfering there. But yeah, overall I'm quite pleased with my trial fit. I think it's not too bad. And what I'll do, I'll try and leave the panels in place now predominantly and just take them off individually when I need them, and it'll save having them up the garden. This one was wet, and when I wiped it off, all the mould came off it. So the rest of the car looks dirtier and more mouldy than the front wing. I'm kind of leaning towards trying to repair that area there. Yeah, I think having the body panels fitting nice is important, so I will try and make more effort in that area. This wing was pushed in, so maybe the wing is in and I can do something to kind of bring it out. I'll have a look at the panel that's here. So yeah, putting these back on has opened up more opportunities for me now. The car's got its face back, hasn't it? You know, it needs to have a face. I've had to put myself on light duties. I had to go to the eye hospital and have a little fleck of something removed from my eye, and it's really knocked me back, to be honest. I don't fancy doing any grinding and welding. So what I've been doing, I've just been doing very light tinkering, and I'm kind of offering the front end panels in place, and just, you know, pushing them around and trying for the best fit, and fitting the bonnet and fitting the front panel. There are a couple of little jobs that need doing, but I'm just taking it easy, and I'm looking after things like trying to get the right hardware. I've got a slotted screw in there now. It's 5mm instead of 1032, but you know, that's a good suitable replacement. You know, with the availability of the things in this country, millimetre sizes are easier to get. But the bonnet's fitting quite well. I put the latch thing back on. This is fitting okay. The gap's not too bad. It's still a little bit tight here. The wing is not too bad. It's matching the bonnet quite well down there. The fit to this door isn't great. I might sort of pack the wing out a little bit. I can do that. I can put it like a strip of rubber down there where it mounts. But the door, I'll push the wing forward as far as I can, and the door does at least miss it now, where it was clashing before. Very close. I can't see that the door has been disturbed, so I think that's probably in the right place. This needs looking at, all this area here, but like I say, I don't fancy trying to do any cutting, welding, grinding at the moment. So yeah, just taking a little bit of a break. I pushed this panel back a little bit because this was touching it there, so I've pushed it back a little bit. This isn't actually attached. Can you see there where there's a mark? That's where it was clashing before, so I've pushed that back. This wing fits quite well, to be honest. Haven't really messed about with it. Yeah, it might need lifting a little bit. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, not much to say because I've kind of had the wind knocked out of my sails, really. You know, you think you're invincible, don't you? And something happens and knocks you back. Yeah, so I'm just doing light duties at the moment and just doing silly little things. You know, like sorting out the hardware, you know, screws and clips, nuts and bolts. I screwed that voltage regulator on, brand new bolts, stainless. You know, I've got bolts, screws for here. These are a 10mm head. The originals would have been 7/16, but you know, they're not a bad substitute. Yeah, I'll put that back on. I imagine I could fit the radiator, so yeah, that might be an idea. I could fit the radiator and fit some hoses. Yeah, that might be an idea. You know, I'm just looking for simple little jobs that I can do. I can also change the coil because I bought a new coil. So maybe I'll do that actually. Maybe I'll fit the coil, maybe fit the radiator, maybe fit the hoses. I'm just trying to do little light jobs at the moment because my vision is blurred slightly in my left eye. I'm alright because my right eye is okay, but my left eye is slightly blurred. Ooh. This is one of the things I want to look at. What's going on here? I need to screw that on, you see. Here, where is it? Here? And that needs screwing on, but I couldn't actually see it. So I'll get my mat and get underneath and have a look. And then on this side, I need to weld a piece on because this is broke. That piece is missing there. So I need to sort out that one and kind of make a copy of it and put it on this side. Okay, right, that was like a little bit of a non-report, but yeah, I will bring you back when there's something more substantial to show. But please, please be careful when you're grinding. I've got away with it for years now, just using my normal glasses as, you know, to protect my eyes, but no, they're not good enough. You need some proper eye protection. So there's my little bit of a handy tip to you. I'll show you my face. You can see this eye is still a bit swollen up and not looking too great. I couldn't have done this yesterday. I couldn't have stood having the light in my eye. I was very sensitive to light, but that's okay now. Yeah, I was at the hospital yesterday. Righto, back in a bit. Poor old thing. Never mind. We'll soon have it up and running and out on the road. Okay. Not anytime soon, I suppose, in reality, but you know, it's well on the way to recovery. Okay. Thanks for watching then. Take care and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye. This is the front strut off my car that has the early spindle and it has the hole in it there.